I guess that's why they like him over there. I'm trying to figure out why they like you in Memphis. Or do they like you in Memphis? That's a better question. I'm not sure your teammates like you. Next time you speak up on me, I hope you're in a better situation than you in now, where the guys you play with actually enjoy playing with you because they actually think you're contributing to winning. Because it ain't happening right now, champ. You're not a champ. You're a clown.
Without question, Dillon Brooks has become the most hated villain in the NBA today. And in this video, we're going to have a deep dive into how he got to this point. Now, first, we have to backtrack a bit to see how far this goes. I mean, we got to start from the very beginning. You can see that the game is already decided here against Duke, but to everyone's surprise, Brooks shot an unnecessary three, which went in. Now, if it didn't go in, it could have been just fine, but you can see in Brooks' reaction afterward that he really did intend to make that. Moments later, you can see that Coach K went to Brooks and lectured him saying, "You should not do that, kid." Anyways, when he was a junior, he got involved in another incident. This time though, it actually hurts a bit more than the shot he made against Duke. Like, literally.
Extra from Dillon Brooks as he's falling there. Take a closer look. Oh, and a little extra follow through on that.
And around the same time, he also began pulling weird antics, such as this one.
You can't fault the Laurence Olivier, the Oscars.
Damn, Brooks should receive an Oscar for that ridiculous flop. Now, if you think he's done, well, not even close, because during the Pac-12 championship, he tried to get away with murder by doing this.
Defensive foul here on the drive. That might be the second on Bell. No, they're actually going to get Brooks, and that was a shot.
At this point, Brooks is slowly generating heat with his cheap shots and groin attacks, but aside from his antics, he was actually a pretty decent player during his stint with Oregon, as he averaged almost 15 points a ball game and made clutch baskets all year round. So much so that the Grizzlies picked him in the second round back in the 2017 draft. Now, in his first couple of years, Brooks actually played well aside from his sophomore year, where he only played 18 games due to injury. Though they didn't really win a lot of games in his first two seasons, things started to look up for them when they drafted this guy.
The Memphis Grizzlies select Ja Morant from Murray State University.
The arrival of Ja Morant has infused the Memphis Grizzlies with a new kind of swag and confidence, and they started to carry that new kids on the block kind of vibe from that point as well. Now, that swag and confidence have actually done a lot of good for them as they finished 9th at the end of the 2019-20 season, but sometimes they tend to go overboard, just like the time when they had to deal with the Andre Iguodala situation. See, in case you didn't know, the Warriors traded away Iguodala back in 2019. But sources have said that he really didn't want to be there, and so he refused to play until he got shipped off somewhere else. Now, in his defense, Iggy said in different interviews that he didn't say any of that, but the Grizzlies, especially Brooks, didn't buy Iggy's explanation, so during one interview, Brooks called out Iggy by saying,
"A guy that's on our team doesn't want to be on our team. I can't wait till we find a way to trade him so we can play him. And I could be to show him what really Memphis is about."
And yes, you can pinpoint that the beef between the Golden State Warriors and the Grizzlies actually stems from this clip, because right after that, Steph Curry chimed in by expressing his support for his former Finals MVP teammate with this pic, and moments after seeing Curry's tweet, Ja Morant fired some shots right back at the chef with this photo. Anyways, the friction between Dillon Brooks and all parties involved intensified even more when both teams faced off in the 2021 play-in tournament. After a 48-minute heated contest, the Grizzlies eventually came away with the win. And right before they finished the post-game interview, Ja and Dillon started to bring in the smoke when they spat these parting words.
Hold up, another thing. I know we won, we're in the playoffs, but my dog needs his respect on this defensive team for sure.
Yes, sir.
It is unacceptable that he's not getting the recognition that, some of these guys are getting, and I mean, you can pull up the stats and, see, his defense on these top players and, see them versus other teams. So give my dog his respect. Need it.
Once Ja said those things, you knew that the situation was about to get real between them and the Warriors. So fast forward to last season, the matchup between the Grizzlies and the Dubs was pretty fun to say the least, with Iguodala playing on the other side of the fence. But what's more interesting about that matchup was Brooks' mouth and how he kept trash-talking the Dubs the entire night.
Hey, camera, come look over here. Look at all this ice beside me on my left. Oh, you're right. Look at all this ice. Whole lot of ice. Ice on me hit.
The Grizzlies blew out the Warriors that night, and right after the game, Brooks once again threw some shade at them. First, he fired some shots directed at Iggy.
He developed a lot, and we all had the vision and he didn't, which is perfect. Send him back to the Warriors and let him, do his thing over there.
And then he trolled the Dubs by saying,
we were able to, create something like this and, keep building this dynasty and this program up to, new heights. And it's just an amazing feeling to see guys grow every single year.
Now, around this point, Brooks also started getting back to his old ways. Getting under the skin of some players like Devin Booker. And in the playoffs, things escalated further with Brooks because guess what? The Grizzlies are facing the Warriors in the second round. This is what everyone wants to see, a 7-game series between the two teams that hated each other's guts. And as expected, elbows and words were thrown here and there, but there's Dillon Brooks yet again to take things a bit too far.
Golden State still looking to crack the seal. Payton right down the middle, he's fouled hard. And Payton's in pain.
Brooks was immediately ejected right away and received a suspension for the next game. Now, at this point, it has become personal for the Dubs. I mean, Steph was clearly pissed about it.
It was like 8-0 at the time, so we're obviously trying to get settled in the game. That play happens, it pisses you off, have a reaction.
So was Draymond Green.
It was a
But among all the people who condemned Brooks' dirty play, Steve Kerr was one of those who didn't hold back. And here's his reaction to that incident.
I don't know if it was intentional, but it was dirty. And, playoff basketball it's supposed to be physical. Everybody's going to compete. Everybody's going to fight for everything. But there's a code in this league. There's a code that players follow. Where you never put a guy's season/career in jeopardy by taking somebody out in midair. A guy comes in and whacks him across the head in midair. He broke the code. Dillon Brooks broke the code.
Now, after Kerr released that statement, the reporters asked Brooks about his reaction to that. And to me, this is the point where he really starts embracing that villain role.
No reaction. I don't really even know what that means, the playoffs. Every bucket, every basket, every possession, every play counts. So I did not understand what he meant by that.
I guess 2 questions off of that. What was going through your head when you were going for that play?
Going for that play? Yeah. I was trying to make a play on the ball and was running full speed, and I jumped and he adjusted.
Have you talked to Gary Payton?
No, I haven't.
As you've heard, he said those words with no remorse at all, and Brooks at this point seemed to invite all the fire that he could handle. And in this season, Brooks just picked up where he left off and has continued to rub people the wrong way. I mean, he once tried to get into the head of LeBron, gave a love tap to Anthony Edwards. He also tried to instigate a fight against someone bigger than him, like Joel Embiid. Pissed off Joel Embiid's teammate. And by the way, he's also back to doing cheap shot groin attacks, which have led to this.
And remember, Mitchell was in the West with Utah, so they've seen each other a lot. Mitchell threw the ball and then came up and shoved him and then threw him down. But clearly to me, Mitchell...
And aside from these incidents, he has also taken his act beyond the court by engaging in a war of words with Unc Shannon Sharp, and shoves a poor cameraman who's just sitting on the sidelines. The list of misdeeds goes on and on for Brooks, And whether it's just all for show or whatnot, I think this persona that he created is actually good for the NBA in terms of entertainment, because if you remember back in the day, there were bad guys that people loved to hate, like Lambeer, Rodman, Ron Artest, and Dillon Brooks seems to carry the torch of the baddies in this era by being the ultimate villain in today's NBA. Now, for him to be considered a legit bad guy though, Brooks has yet to prove himself as a player, and not just someone who trash talks or acts like a tough guy who can't back his trash talk up. But for now, he's clearly embracing his role as the bad guy, and let's just see how far this act will take him, as well as the entire Memphis Grizzlies squad. And now, back to our regular programming.